Hey, good afternoon, Justice Warriors. It's Friday, TGIF. It's February 17th, and I'm doing my Cliff Notes from this morning's live. So, thank you for everybody who was there. It was a very, very entertaining and informative live, in my opinion. My goodness, you guys have the best questions and the best information. So, I just want to try to speed read through this because there's so much that I want to condense into the shortest version of my live. And everything I say is simply my opinion. It's simply for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion and to be educational. It's made specifically for YouTube, which we all know is an entertainment platform, so I always like to include that in my disclaimer. So hit that thumbs up and like, share, subscribe if you'd be so kind and feel inclined. So we started out, I wanted to talk about the trans issue that many people have been bringing up, and I wanted to be super respectful. It's kind of a non-issue. It is, in my view, that, people, 1 in 3,000 people are born hermaphrodites, and the rest of us are born either male or female or somewhere in between. It's like this whole spectrum. It's like the 50 Shades of Grey. So, kids these days, they have this thing that they say gender fluidity, and I just think that that's the best way to go about it. Back in the olden days, it used to be considered a mental illness to be trans, and it's not. It's absolutely not. So I think it's important to be respectful and to have boundaries, even in the streets of YouTube. Okay? So there are issues that could be the very same issues, like of jealousy, regardless of any trans or not trans. It's just not a thing, and it is a very sensitive issue for a lot of people. So, one of my savvy viewers asked me who came up with the leave 'em alone Jim phrase, and I'm so glad that she asked because it was Armchair Detective, I believe, that came up with that. And then my viewers came up with like the Leave 'em Alone roommates a couple of weeks ago, which I thought was adorable and hilarious. Was that you, Annie Ruler? And then there was the Leave 'em Alone bunny rabbits. And again, that was my viewers. And yeah, those things just kind of morph, and it is important to give credit where credit's due. So, Armchair Detective is an excellent channel. If you haven't checked him out, you might like him. He's over there in the UK. So, Matthew Shepard, oh my goodness, what a sad, sad, sad situation. That was 25 years ago in Laramie, Wyoming, and he was tied up to a fence and beaten. And I think that movie, Girls Don't Cry, was about it, but I will be honest, I have always avoided the details of that story and that movie because it was just so grotesque to me. And fortunately, that incident has helped a lot with homophobia and transphobia, but sad for Matthew Shepard and his family, or I would like to say their family, because I don't know what the proper pronoun is. And I like that pronoun thing these days. I think it makes it way more even of a playing field. So I brought up Archie Bunker. You guys remember that character from All in the Family, the racist, sexist, homophobe? And a lot of people don't realize that Carol O'Connor, the actor, invented that character, invented that whole TV show to present that character to America. It was the precise opposite of what he was, but he wanted to make a parody of it and show people how ridiculous and horrifying it was to be like that. So, there's been a lot of questions in this case of the Idaho 4 about OnlyFans. And OnlyFans is, to me, almost like a grooming ground, but it is something that a lot of people seem to enjoy, and a lot of people make money off of it. And it is something I spoke about this yesterday or the day before, it's more of an entrepreneurship, But in the event that someone is forcing somebody to share their proceeds or to be involved in it, that could be a whole nother issue. That could be a really dicey issue, especially if anybody's under the age of 18. That's huge right there. And if there's any affiliation with a club or a school or any other kind of business entity, that could really quickly turn into a trafficking kind of thing. I'll just say it. And then that whole thing with the HVAC, the truck that came to the 1122 King Drive that day. I'm sorry, King Road. It's important to be precise. The HVAC truck. And I think a lot of people had questions about that. Like, could that have been something to do with video cameras being hidden in the house for live streaming for OnlyFans? It's just a question. It's just a question. But, perhaps removing evidence. I don't know. I don't know. But a couple of my viewers knew quite a bit about the OnlyFans and how the whole thing works with tips and personal requests and real time, that kind of thing. Um, Someone made a comment about how being attacked and, unalived savagely would not really sound like somebody playing with a dog or somebody having fun at a party. And everybody chimed in, like, yeah, you're right about that. Absolutely. So, whoever it was that said that, I apologize for not writing your name down. I will kick you some credit in the comments or the description. And, I have this question. How do we know that this happened between 4 and 4:20? I know that that's what it says in the affidavit, but that affidavit seems to be kind of fiction, in my opinion, possibly, potentially, allegedly. And things could have happened before that 4 o'clock mark, and things could have happened after that 4:25 mark, in my opinion. So I also have brought this up before. I've been very concerned about how long the automobiles were left in the parking area outside of the residence of 1122 King Road. And then when they were finally removed, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks later, if anybody remembers and wants to chime in, or put it in the comments. I think that when they finally did get removed, they got taken to another non-secure location, which is just crazy. But there's the secrecy in the Greek system. And I went to school at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, way back in the 80s. And that secrecy is very likely about risque explicitity, substances, or possibly secret rock and roll bands, right? That's probably what it was. Probably a lot of secrecy about the rock and roll bands that they don't want anyone to know about. But no, probably the other two of the Trinity, the Holy Trinity, or as one of my commenters said yesterday, the unholy Trinity. I don't want to use the word she used. And Toby Toes asked this question about what kind of job did Kaylee have waiting for her in Texas? And I remembered that it was a high tech job, that she had worked for this high tech company before, which is interesting, especially because her degree was in, she wanted to become an elementary school teacher, but it was a really high paying job. And I'm not wanting to say this, but I'm going to just go ahead and say it. A lot of high tech jobs are involved in the adult entertainment industry. That's where the money is. That's where most high tech geniuses work. All right? It's just the way it is. Somebody brought up Enan Harsh and Jack D both being jugglers and just wondering if they might have ever crossed paths. I thought that was an interesting idea. Of course, they could have literally crossed paths since they lived on opposite sides of the 1122 King Drive. I'm sorry, King Road. I keep doing that. But it really makes me wonder about OnlyFans types of jobs in Austin, Texas. And so I looked it up, and Google says there's a whole bunch of them. But, sometimes Google doesn't tell you the truth. So who knows? Anyway, it just really makes you think this case and the Kylie Rodney case and the whole thing with photography, videography, SF Investigates, Jägermeister. It all has me scratching my head and kind of wanting to throw up. But, we're hoping to find truth. We're hoping to find justice for these victims of these horrible, hideous crimes. I'm gonna wrap up. I'm trying to make these as short as possible. So you guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much for watching. And make sure you get your exercise and eat right. High protein, high produce. Twice as many veggies as fruit is a good way to go. Stay hydrated, stay calm, relax, get your rest, meditate, pray, be kind, make sure people are kind to you, and keep healthy boundaries. Keep yourself surrounded by people that you really respect and that you just have a lot of positive feelings for. Don't allow anybody near you that you don't respect. All right? That'll make a big difference in your life. That's my hot tip for the day. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Peace out, and I'll see you on the next one. Sending you light and love.